From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Last night's presidential primary proved that independent voters play a vital role in this election. But here in Arizona, independent voters don't have much of a voice. If you're an independent voter, find out what you need to do and by when in order to vote in this upcoming presidential preference.
New funding toward the Tucson Police Department is said to help combat the state's rapid rise of sex trafficking. How the department plans on using the grant.
Not only is the freedom of speech for the dispensaries being shut down, but the freedom of choice for the patients is being inhibited too.
And marijuana dispensaries are getting the boot from social media.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Zach Pocklin.
And I'm Amber Kawaji. Thanks for joining us. Independent voters in Arizona are fighting to make their voices heard. As it stands now, only those registered as Democrats, Republicans, or Green Party are able to vote in next month's presidential preference election. Reporter Sydney Glenn took a look at the push for open elections.
Independent voters in New Hampshire totaled 39% of the ballots. Here in Arizona, about 40% are registered as independents, but independent is not a recognized political party in Arizona. Now groups are working to change that. Standing outside the Burton Barr Public Library in Phoenix, advocates for open primaries in Arizona are collecting signatures to change Arizona's independent voter laws.
We all are voters. We all have a voice. We should be able to vote our conscience.
Arizona instead has a presidential preference election, which does not allow independent voters.
You don't always agree with everything a party's doing. So be able to vote independently will give us the ability to vote how we want to vote.
Of the almost 2 million registered Arizona voters, over 700,000 identify as independents. Only about 7,000 voters have changed their affiliation so far, a fairly even split between Democrat and Republican, and a few to the Green Party. But not all independent voters in Arizona know this, and there can be confusion on Election Day.
We will still see some independents floating in, not knowing this, thinking, why can't I vote?
Some independent voters don't want to switch their party affiliation and would rather just not vote.
I personally I don't believe I've ever affiliated myself with a party for the opportunity to vote.
And for the ones that do switch over to vote, many switch right back to independent.
I would say the majority of them would want to switch back into the independent party.
For this presidential preference, independent voters will not be able to vote, but David Handley hopes that will change in the future.
I'm doing this so not only I can vote my conscience, but everyone here in the state of Arizona can vote for the best person and not a party, and that's the way it should be.
Independent voters must change their party affiliation by February 22nd in order to vote in the presidential preference election on March 22nd. That can be done online at servicearizona.com or in person at the Maricopa County Recorder's Office. In the Broadcast Center, Sydney Glenn, Cronkite News.
Arizona's senior Senator John McCain is the latest to say that women should be registering for the draft. As chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, McCain says that he's siding with two service chiefs who say the selective service system should now include women. Back in 1981, the Supreme Court upheld Congress's decision to exempt women for registering for the draft because at that point they were restricted from combat roles. McCain told Cronkite News in a statement that including women in the draft is, quote, the logical conclusion of the decision to open combat positions to women. However, it is important to point out that because of the resounding success of the all-volunteer force, it is exceedingly unlikely that a draft would ever be required again. At the Grand Canyon, female employees are claiming that they are being targeted and harassed by their male co-workers. Arizona's congressional delegation announced today that the National Park Service has to do more to protect employees who are participating in river rafting trips. Last month, a federal watchdog found that Park Service workers at the Grand Canyon have preyed on their female colleagues while on river trips, demanding sex and retaliating when they refuse. The allegations are now under further investigation.
The Tucson Police Department recently received a large federal grant to help law enforcement understand the signs of sex trafficking and get victims and potential victims off the street. Cronkite News. Steve Schultz explains just how bad the problem is and how one local group is fighting it.
The McCain Institute and ASU's recent study of more than 200 homeless youths found that as many as 1 in 3 have experienced some kind of sexual exploitation or been victims of commercial sex trafficking. Every year, children and teens across Arizona are the victims of sex trafficking.
If you pay a kid for a sex act with food, lodging, a bed to sleep in, a ride from A to B, you're trafficking a child.
According to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center, in 2015 there were 4,136 cases of sex trafficking in the nation, 116 of those coming from Arizona.
At 14, I ran away from home.
After that, Lisa Hansen met an older man who used her for drug and sex trafficking.
Sexual abuse destroys a soul, and it makes you feel filthy and worthless. And it also makes you feel like that's all you're good for.
Cindy McCain, co-chair of the Governor's Council on Human Trafficking, says the number of victims across the state are alarming.
What we are finding is the numbers are much larger than we ever thought they were. It's much more widespread than we ever thought it was. It's everywhere.
In Tucson, police, victims, and advocates are pushing back. And Hansen's dad, Jerry Payton, is at the forefront of the fight.
Well, in our case, I was a pastor. My daughter was president of her class. She was, into church girl. She didn't smoke, drink, or anything like that. And she wound up being trafficked.
Payton started the Sold No More organization in Tucson. The group says 1 in 5 children will be sexually solicited online. The Tucson Police Department received a $740,000 federal grant to assemble a human trafficking task force.
Our goal, obviously, is always to make a dent and trying to diminish both sex and labor trafficking.
Hansen, now 44, teaches 8th graders about awareness. With the projector on and the lights off, she explains just what happened to her at their age.
Make people feel like they're not even worth it.
Tucson police are mainly focusing on getting girls off the streets, and if they are over 18, arresting them.
And sometimes when you talk to them, they don't realize that they're being trafficked. They just think that it's something they need to do. It's a necessity in order to survive.
Hansen says most of the time, it's not their choice.
There's a level of choice that goes along with it, but if you dig deeper and you go way back to what's really been the catalyst in all of it, everybody goes, oh.
At least, Payton says, they are finally recognizing the problem.
Before a community, before a state or a country can really respond to a problem, they have to be convinced it's there, and it's real.
Hansen, for now, is concentrating on the kids at schools. As Sold No More continues their education program to middle schools and high schools, more victims are coming forward with their stories. Live in downtown Phoenix, Jesse Schultz, Cronkite News.
Small business owners around the valley are giving their support to Education Proposition 123. Governor Doug Ducey spoke to the members of the National Federation of Independent Business, saying that businesses and schools should have similar goals and that Prop 123 helps that. Arizona NFIB State Director Farrell Quinlan says NFIB and our small business owner membership strongly support passage of Proposition 123, not only because it sends a strong message about the value of education in Arizona, but also because it makes solid business sense. Opponents of the proposition say they want to see more money come from the general fund and are concerned about what comes after Prop 123 runs out.
The state Senate heard 2 bills targeting abortion providers today. Senate Bill 1485 would make it illegal for state employees to donate to abortion providers using payroll deductions, while Senate Bill 1474 would make it illegal to sell or transfer human embryo or fetuses for research. Bill 1474 gained more traction after undercover video of Planned Parenthood medical staff discussing the sale of fetal tissue surfaced, although investigations in 12 states show that no fetal tissue was sold. Despite strong criticism from a top Republican House member, a proposal overhauling the state's public safety work pension was approved during an Arizona House Committee meeting today. The House Insurance Committee voted 7-1 on a package of 3 bills that fully return funding to the pension plan in 19 years. Majority Whip David Livingston argued that the overhaul does not fix current ongoing problems with the plan.
One way of advertising is being taken away from marijuana dispensaries.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how local dispensary owners are reacting after being kicked off of Facebook.
And the draining of Tempe Town Lake started today. The details of how this project affects the local wildlife.
The true measure of all our actions is how long the good in them lasts.
This is who I am, where I'm from.
If you're on the right side of history, you can accomplish anything.
It's a connection between your present and your past.
Come this way. This is good. This is very good.
We are attempting to fulfill the promise of America.
The stories about who we are shape us.
This chance to go through a time machine.
Good heavenly days.
We should know our history.
It informs, but it doesn't constrict you.
It's a framework to carry out human activity.
The sky is the limit.
It started a long time ago.
Looking for a fun and exciting way to support your favorite program on Arizona PBS? It's as easy as picking up your phone and texting FRIEND to 77948 right now. One simple click and you are ready to make your safe and secure donation using PayPal or your credit card. No phone call needed, and all of your donation will go to support your favorite program here on Arizona PBS. Don't delay. Text FRIEND to 77948 today.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Twitter, one of the most used social media sites, is steadily declining, and now price shares are at an all-time low. Since CEO Jack Dorsey took over in July, Twitter has lost more than half of its value. Stock fell below $20 per share for the first time since the company went public in 2014. It is now at $15 a share. At the same time, Twitter announced today a new update that will allow its users to follow the best tweets from the people they follow.
Marijuana dispensaries across the U.S. are giving Facebook a thumbs down. The social media site has shut down the majority of all dispensary Facebook pages. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Michaels met with a local dispensary who argues that shutting down their page creates a bigger issue.
Marijuana says that dispensaries' locations violate their policy when it comes to selling drugs. But the dispensary I met with says they're confused about the sudden shutdown.
I got a message saying your page had been unpublished and that it had violated the terms of Facebook.
The Giving Tree Wellness Center is a medical marijuana dispensary, one of many nationwide with newly banned Facebook pages.
As far as we know, our 3 years of all of our different events that we've done, all the fundraisers, all the memories that the Giving Tree has accumulated and shared with our community are all deleted.
Morris says they would post photos of community events they participated in with their patients, like these on their Facebook page, rather than primarily using their page to draw in sales.
Last year, we raised the most money of any organization in the state of Arizona to go towards the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, which is a qualifying condition for medical marijuana cards.
But despite community events, Jessica Smith, a volunteer for Keep AZ Drug Free, thinks the Facebook dispensary page ban is a great idea.
Right now, currently as it stands, it's intended to be for medicine. So not sure why people would be on Facebook searching to find a place to get their medicine.
As of right now, 4 states in the U.S. allow recreational marijuana, while other selected states regulate only medical use. On a federal level, marijuana is still illegal. In a statement from Facebook, they said, in order to maintain a safe environment on Facebook, we have community standards that describe what is and is not allowed on the service. Anyone can report content to us if they think it violates our standards. Our teams review these reports rapidly and will remove the content if there is a violation. Facebook says although they allow marijuana advocacy, they do not allow content that promotes the sale of marijuana, including marijuana dispensaries.
We're not out there promoting how high can you get on Saturday night. You know, we're out there promoting wellness.
And this isn't the first time that Facebook has been criticized for such guidelines. They were under fire in the past for actually deleting breast cancer survivor photos as well as breastfeeding mother photos, saying that they both violated nudity guidelines. In the media center, Lauren Michaels, Cronkite News.
The Maricopa County Attorney's Office released today a series of new public service announcements targeting marijuana use. County Attorney Bill Montgomery decided to create the PSA after the latest Arizona Youth Survey showed a slight increase in marijuana use among high school students.
It ultimately robs our kids of the necessary motivation to competitively apply their talents and abilities.
The ads are part of the county attorney's Safe Teen AZ online campaign, which provides information on bullying and dating violence in addition to substance abuse. If you're looking for more information on the marijuana debate, the Carnegie Knight News 21 initiative released a multimedia in-depth report on marijuana policy and attitudes nationwide. Reporters based here at Cronkite traveled to states across the country to document how pot policies are taking shape. For full access, go to weedrush.news21.com. A key member of Arizona's delegation in the nation's capital is sponsoring a bill to fight animal testing.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how that proposal may change the way military medics get their training.
In the middle of rather a drama.
I've been thinking about the circumstances of the crime and the nature of love.
It's romantic, is it? Isn't it?
Seems to me as if the answer is right in front of you.
I'm a high-functioning sociopath.
You are being irrational.
Need to go.
Will you do a blood test?
No.
You want to hit me now?
Do you think that makes me a wicked woman, sister?
Will the prisoner rise?
There is only one thing I would like.
Pain.
Sex?
Heartbreak.
Or love? Oh, yummy.
Stop it! Papa? Is everything all right in there?
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Animal rights advocates went to Capitol Hill today to fight for what they think is a better and safer way to train military medics. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Clark joins us now in Washington.
Well, it's a fact not known by too many people. The Department of Defense using and wounding live animals in order to help teach and train its military medics. But all of this may change thanks to a guy named Caesar.
Caesar lies on the table, motionless as medics begin to address his wound. While he may look realistic, Caesar isn't a human at all. He's a simulator that can breathe, bleed, and even scream. Caesar and his companion, the cut suit, are a much better alternative, advocates say, than what's happening now.
Of animals in military training in which they're stabbed, shot, blown up, burned, and killed.
The Best Practices Act bill, sponsored by Arizona Representative Raul Grijalva and others, would fund practices
that better trained troops that are more relevant to human beings, are cheaper, and obviously save animals' lives.
Right now, the Department of Defense wounds live animals in order to teach medics how to operate in trauma situations. But the anatomical differences with a goat or pig could be problematic.
So medical providers who have been trained to stop severe bleeding in live goats unfortunately discover the gross limitations of this training when they're trying to actually translate it in real time to human anatomy for the first time on the battlefield.
But with Caesar, trainees can cut his thick skin, clench his rubbery veins, or stare into his LED eyes. His wiring is specific to a human and reflects a more lifelike experience for a medic. Caesar can even be reused several times, unlike live animals.
There's a more humane way to do training that's going to save taxpayers money, and it's even going to be more effective than harming animals. It should be used.
Companies like CAE Healthcare say they're continuing to improve this technology with simulations that save lives both in and out of the battlefield.
We're here to protect life, not to destroy it.
Now, we have reached out to the Pentagon for a comment, but as of tonight, they have not responded. Reporting live in Washington, Lauren Clark, Cronkite News.
Attorney General Mark Brnovich is excited for Arizona after the Supreme Court granted an application for a block in the EPA Clean Power Plan. Arizona is part of a 26-state coalition against the federal overreach. Brnovich says, quote, "This is a huge victory for Arizona. The Clean Power Plan is an abuse of power. It's regulation without representation. This is a tremendous step in stopping the Obama administration's unconstitutional mandates and protecting Arizona jobs and ratepayers." The stay will remain in effect until a federal appeals court in Washington rules on the plan, which could be later this year.
Tempe Town Lake is about to get a much-needed upgrade.
Coming up on Cronkite News, that means the scenery is going to change drastically. We'll let you know what it means for local wildlife.
We are here tonight to explore tough issues.
You've got to have people around you who aren't just laying rose petals in front of your way. And I kid you not, this is true.
Trust is everything.
This has been so much fun.
It's about reaching people.
There are more players on the world stage. The issues are more complex. We ask the questions that take us closer to the truth.
What happened and what might happen.
Because that's what we do.
Would you like doing something like I do? I couldn't do this. I'm not qualified. I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rose. As part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, Arizona PBS is providing a state-of-the-art venue for the next generation of journalists. From newsrooms in Washington, Los Angeles, and here in Phoenix, students engage in real-time, real-world news reporting, broadcast production, and online innovation. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS working together in new ways to bridge the classroom to the community in the digital age.
Last week we had frosty mornings, but now it's already starting to feel like summer in Arizona. The last time it was this hot in mid-February was 1987, when the temperature hit a high of 84 degrees. There is no rain in the forecast through Sunday, and the highs in the 80s are expected to stick around through the weekend.
A new dam is being built for Tempe Town Lake to replace the current rubber dam that has caused issues in the past. When it's completed, it will be the largest hydraulically operated steel gate dam system in the country. Cronkite News reporter Kendall Bartley is live at Tempe Town Lake to tell you about this $47 million project.
Started to drain the lake and relocate it into the Salt River Project canals. Now this process is supposed to last around 2 to 3 weeks. Water in Tempe Town Lake is glistening from the hot Arizona sun, but it won't be that way for long. Once the water is removed, it will take another couple weeks to remove the old dam.
It's going to be used in irrigation for your yard, for a park. There's lots of ways that this water is going to be reused. It's a tremendous resource, and we realize that water is precious.
The goal is to have the project completed and the new dam reopened with SRP canal water by April 30th. In the meantime, the life beneath the lake surface has a place to go.
We have been working since fall to ask anglers to take as many of these fish as they can and take them out of the lake by catching them. We have not stocked any of our sport fish. We have not stocked any fish since earlier this year.
One Tempe resident hopes this new dam is worth it.
The only thing I'm really concerned about is that there's a lot of money that's gone into building these new floodgates, and it's a kind of a revolutionary thing that they're doing. I just hope it works.
City officials say they did research to find the right dam for the job.
There were 20 different technologies that we looked at and evaluated, and this one was by far the best.
Tempe leaders warn no one should enter the lake bed after the water is removed because it's unsafe. It's like quicksand. Live in Tempe, I'm Kendall Bartley, Cronkite News.
We have an update from the state legislature on our top story, the future of Arizona's state-funded presidential preference election. The House voted to repeal the state-funded version of the presidential primary today. The repeal would reimburse more than $6 million to counties. Each political party would still be able to fund an election through fundraising. This proposal now moves to the state Senate, but will not affect the upcoming presidential preference election in March.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, Kurt Volker, former NATO ambassador, joins us for the latest on foreign affairs, and Ruth Pointer of the Pointer Sisters will be here to discuss her new book. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Gwen Eiffel. On the next NewsHour, we talk with the Deputy Director of the CIA about terror threats facing the U.S. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.